underground.
What's up, guys? Good afternoon, good morning, and if you're watching this Facebook Live later on today at night, good evening to you. We want to thank everybody who's here watching us. Today is Friday, May 8th. Welcome to the JMAZ Lighting live stream. As we continue this series of Facebook live streams titled Light Up the Future, you guys. I think that for those of us who take the time to better and master our craft during these times, I think that it's good for us to take advantage of this. Hopefully we're getting closer to the end of this shutdown, and we want to give thanks to everybody out there who are doing their jobs in spite of the situation. Everyone in the food, law enforcement, medical field. I mean, everybody, guys, and everybody who's working those non-essential jobs. It's just, we want to thank you guys for being out there. We also want to welcome our panel. We have Katie from NLFX Professional. Katie, how are you? And then we also want to, awesome. We want to welcome DJ Rachel Lynch, also known as DJ Rachel. How are you?
So good. Doing really good.
Awesome. Guys, in case you guys don't know, I mean, look, we have so much talent on this live stream today. I mean, we have Katie. She's been DJing for a little over 5 years, her and her husband with over 20 years of experience in the industry. I mean, these guys, they have 10 years worth of content on their YouTube channel. If you go on their YouTube channel, you'll go down memory lane here, right? It's so awesome. You guys should really check it out. These guys together, they own NLFXpro.com. And the cool thing about, Katie and NLFX Pro is that these guys attend all the major trade shows, and they do get in front of all the different manufacturers. These guys will come and interview them all, and they do it for their customers. They do it for their viewers, right? To bring you the information. And I think that's pretty awesome. So make sure that you check them out. They're located in northern Minnesota. They carry over 300 brands, including yours truly, JMAZ Lighting. So make sure you guys take advantage of that. And what can I say about DJ Rachel? I mean, if you don't know, this girl's intention was not to become a DJ. You want to hear more about that story, you definitely got to check out her channel. Literally, guys, it wasn't her intention to become a DJ. Look, today, she's one of the most influential female DJs in the industry. I mean, I kid you not, right? And also, she's now a YouTube phenomenon. She's educating the consumer. She's reviewing products from industry-leading manufacturers like JMAZ Lighting. And so, she's out there, guys, with her DJ. She's blogging about her gigs. So you got to make sure you check her out. She's located in Hartford, Connecticut, in the Danbury area. So make sure you take advantage and you check her out. We're going to talk about today, we want to thank also our viewers, obviously. Whether you see this live stream now or later, take the time to comment, ask questions. We will answer them. We are monitoring all the questions and comments coming along the way. Take the time to comment and ask questions. We will answer them as we go along. And whether it's during or after the show, we're going to pick out a lucky winner from the comment section, and we will be sending you out a bag of free merchandise. So that way, you guys, this is just a way to thank you for plugging in, for checking us out. And next week, we're going to be announcing the winners for all 6 weeks, including this one. So guys, thank you so much. Today, we're going to be featuring the world famous industry only Aero series from JMAZ Lighting. DJ Rachel, when was the time you were first, like when was the first time you saw the Aero series? And
So
what
that
was
was
your impression like?
So I first ran into this light at Mobile Beat 2019, and it was actually my first year of going. And the show floor, it's one of the highlights, of the show. And of course, you walk into the show floor, and you guys had one of the most impressive displays out there. It was just like a
Thank
moth
you.
to a flame. You just walk over, and it was just like wow. So I kind of hung back a little bit just to kind of see, the buzz that was going around the booth and kind of what you guys, were about and what you were doing. And I noticed you had some really neat technology that I wanted to dive more into because as a solo op, I'm always looking for things that are innovative, easy to use, and make my life easier. So when I saw you had some battery powered products, I was like, I got to take a minute and talk to these guys. And then that's where we connected. So it was Mobile Beat last year, I believe.
Nice. And so I know you saw it from a convenience standpoint, right? And so, Katie, when were you first introduced to the battery powered Aero series, and what was your impression like?
I think it probably was last year or the year before at Mobile Beat. I can't really
Talk to these
remember.
guys.
But for sure, yes. I also came to check out. You know what? Maybe it was DJ Expo. I don't know, but I don't. All my trade shows just kind of meshed together. Honestly, I don't know one from another at this point. But I just remember again seeing your booth. It's quite impressive. I just came over to check it out, and I talked to you guys. And I actually think at that point we were talking about bringing you guys on as a manufacturer.
Nice, nice. So, some of the things I wanted to find out was, I mean, I guess this is a question for both of you guys from two different perspectives, right? Katie, you from a marketing perspective, and DJ Rachel from a performer's perspective. Um, um, what was it like? I guess what I want to know is how did you think of it? Like, how can I use this? And then obviously, Katie, how can I bring this to my customers? Like, what was the first question that popped to mind when you saw battery powered moving head? I mean, for me, when I first thought about the design of the product was how bright and how long does it last? Like, that was me, right? But I'm wondering what went through your mind. Like, what were some of the doubts and questions that you were like, I gotta find out this about this particular light? What was that?
So for me, when I first saw it, my first concern was battery powered, obviously, because if you're going to make the investment in something that is wireless and battery powered, if it's something that you constantly have to worry about and you're plugging it in more than it's actually running, what good is it? So battery life was super important to me. And I was actually interested in how much it weighed and how portable it was, because if it was cumbersome to travel with and to set up and it needed a lot of A plus B equals C to even make this thing work, I really wasn't interested in it. I really was looking for something simple, kind of set it and forget it. And as I learned more about the product, it was right up my alley.
I
That's
agree.
good to know.
I agree with Rachel 100%. Functionality is a huge, the people that I talk to in the market, they don't want to spend hours setting it up. They don't want to spend hours programming it. Another thing is weight. How heavy is it? How long is the battery life? It's, for me, because I go to all of these shows and I get to see all of these products, it was one of the first that I'd seen of its kind. So initially it intrigued me that way as well, because I think that the market needs it. I think there's a demand for battery powered movers. So it's filling that void, and it's really simple to use. Obviously, brightness, the functions of the actual mover. Those were the main things. My head's always spinning. So those were the main things that I was looking for when I saw it.
And to piggyback off that,
Yeah.
just real quick, is over the past 2 to 3 years, I would say I've seen a real shift in the type of mobile events I do and how unique they have become. I'm seeing a lot less traditional wedding venue style events where you have access to power. I mean, I've been asked to do ceremonies like out in the middle of a cornfield, right? I live in the middle of nowhere. There's a lot of barn weddings, and you have to have flexible gear. So I think
I saw the boathouse you did.
right.
With the outdoor ceremony.
Right. So battery powered is the future, right? We see that with the Denon Prime Go, that's where all of this is headed. So to find
Right.
lights that complement that mission, again, that's really what caught my eye, because the industry is shifting. Our mobile events are shifting. People want more unique styled events, and you don't have the traditional, wall plug and ability to gaff tape everything down. And so wireless is where it's at.
Yeah, and so this is good to know, because obviously a lot of our viewers are wondering, right? Like, because when they hear battery powered moving head, maybe they're thinking the same thing you guys were thinking when you first saw these lights, and you thought, weight, brightness, functionality, how hard is it to use? From the minute I take it out and set it up, how quickly can this thing be up and running? And so all those things matter to the consumer out there. You did touch on a couple of things. I mean, where the future is going, everything being battery powered. And it's crazy because today, people are having to reinvent themselves through these tough times. And I think I saw a video where there was a couple of people talking about what some of these DJs are doing. Like, they're doing like drive-by DJ gigs. And so what it'll consist of is somebody rigging up their van and, putting together something small. And even if it's daytime, you still need a couple of moving heads. Even if they're inside your van, you could move them, you can see them moving around. But think of like a late afternoon, maybe even an evening event where these guys are setting up their vans and they're going to these drive-by birthday parties. And even if it's like a 30-minute show that they're putting together for these people, you could use a pair of battery-powered lights, whether it be an uplight or a moving head, just to kind of give your van, your setup a little bit of, taste. And so, I really wanted to, thank you guys for your input on that, because it means a lot, right? And so here's another thing. Functionality, portability is very important. Now, for most DJs, I mean, you guys both DJ, and then Katie, for you as well, from a retail marketing perspective, for most DJs, knowing how to use a moving head in full DMX mode is very important. Now, for other people, as simple or as basic, the better, right? For some people, basic is better. For other people, full DMX is better. What is it for you guys? I know you guys talked about how easy it is to use. What is it for you guys?
So the biggest selling point for me, other than obviously battery powered, was the fact that you guys offered integrated scenes in this. So here's a full confession. People who know me, I do a lot of gear reviews, very tech oriented. I love diving into new technology, trying things. I'm not afraid to hit buttons and break stuff. You can always fix it or buy a new one, right? That's how I learn. But I will admit, in my 18-ish years of doing this, I have never been into DMX, and I know nothing about it. And frankly, I have no intent on even getting into it. It doesn't interest me. I don't get excited about complicated lighting. I think there's value in it, and I have great respect for those who are masters of that technology and that type of language. Not me. As a single solo op, female DJ that just wants to pack up my truck. I got to get to my show. I got to get the stuff out, loaded, ready to go. And I want to hit a button, have it do cool stuff, make me look good, pack it up, and go home. So Ape Labs was the uplighting that I invested in, and they have the RF remote that, again, it's like a one-touch music mode, and things look fabulous. So when I saw that you had, a similar essence about your product, that you offered an RF remote where I could hit a button with some pre-programs and have stuff look good, I was sold. Honestly, folks, that was the major selling point for me for this. But what I do appreciate is that you have diversity built into the light. If you want to use DMX, you can. If you want to be like me, set it and forget it, like a crock pot, right? You turn it on, you leave it, and good things happen, and you come back and it's done, right? You have that option too. So the flexibility is what was key for me with this.
Very cool. Katie, how about yourself?
So for me, I also agree that the built-in programs are really awesome. In that same breath, if you don't want to run cords or wires to your lights, why would you want to run a DMX cable and not a power cable? It doesn't make sense to me. Why would you have one cable and not have another? Like, it kind of defeats the point of being completely battery operated and wireless.
Absolutely.
So that was a huge selling point for me as well, is because they are very easy to use. The built-in programs, a lot of people don't want to learn DMX now, and it's great for that.
Nice. Okay. So one of the things we do want to talk about is the ease of use about this light. I mean, what I can tell you is and I'll just run this by you real quick. So the remote itself, like you guys were talking about, let me know if that's clear or not. You can see the presets on it, right? Mm-hmm. There's and they're there with colors. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 have different colors. And so those different presets, 1 through 4, are preset programs so that you can run them in auto, and it'll just scan different angles towards the front. Once you go to 5 and 6, you're scanning different angles to the left and to the right. Like, for example, if you see the ones that I have in the back, I don't know how quickly the video is moving or if the video does any justice, but I have them in auto, and it's show number 1 that's running right now. And if you see the remote and I press the dimmer button right up here by my, right here, the dimmer button up there, if you press that once, what it does is it makes the light stop, and it'll kind of pause itself where it is. And remember, this is an RF remote, so I'm not pointing at the lights. I'm not going like this, right? If you press the red button, which is like a stop button, it just blacks them out and the lights go to standby mode. The minute you want them to come back, it's as easy as pressing the auto button that's right here, right down here. If I press the auto button, it'll default to show number 1. So that's how crazy this is. I mean, here's what I'll do. I'm gonna turn them off, right? Pretend I just plugged them in, and I'm gonna turn them off. There's literally no programming going on, just so you guys can get an idea. And there goes my phone.
There you go. You're good now.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me turn these off. And I can, for a lot of people, and so for a lot of people, it's important to know this because, from the minute you turn them on, obviously they go through their power cycle and they will, kind of come on. And I'm going to show you guys how easy it is, because you have to tell the light, hey, I want to use the remote function, and this is how you do it. So when the lights turn on, they're going to come on, and they're going to come on in auto mode. I hit the switch on one of them before I did it on the other one. So they're going to turn on in auto mode. Notice how they're just kind of doing their thing. So at the top of the remote, you have a spot, beam. Right up here, there's a spot, beam, and wash. As you guys know, these Aero battery-powered lights, they come in beam, spot, and wash. So how you tell these lights, I'm going to use the remote, is you press the spot. These happen to be the Aero spots. So you press the spot button 3 times, 1, 2, 3. And so what the lights do is they'll pause. Now they're waiting for a command from you. So if I tell them, okay, that's how you know the remote has recognized the light. So you press the stop button and the lights turn off, they go into standby mode. You then go to auto mode and they're ready to go. So from the minute you put them wherever you're gonna put them, you turn them on, within 5 minutes, you could be up and running. That's how versatile, that's how easy to use these lights are, especially for people like you guys and myself. Like, I love DMX and I love what you could do with it. But quite frankly, when you're like a solo performer, you don't have a lot of time to
Uh-oh.
It froze on you too?
He did.
Uh-oh. Okay, well, I guess I'll finish his thought. As a solo performer, it's really amazing to have a feature that just allows you again to turn them on and put on a great show with little to no effort. And if you guys want to check out a gig log where this is proven over and over again, I did a wedding up at Mystic Aquarium in Mystic, Connecticut, and their timeline literally gives their DJs 30 minutes to set up. And mind you, they have the ceremony in a different section and obviously cocktail hour in a different section, and everything is spread out. So by the time I got done cleaning up, I had to hire 2 additional DJs to help me with this. So when it came to lighting, I literally wanted to turn it on, hit a button, and be done. And these saved me. I can't even tell you how important they were to have them at an event like that. So I love these movers. They've been perfect for me.
You also used them at your outdoor block party too, didn't you? I saw the videos. I loved it.
I did. So I didn't put them on totems or anything. I literally just set them on the ground. And I can tell you, cars were stopping every 2 seconds to check out the lighting. And some of my neighbors down the street, they're like, I don't know what you were doing, but we saw these colors and beams in the woods. Because again, I live in the middle of nowhere. So yes, I think we have a clip of that, of my driveway block party show where I kind of went all out.
Sorry guys, I think my internet went down here. Can you guys still see me?
Yeah,
we can.
We're good. We kept chatting.
Give me 1 sec here.
I had a thought as we were talking before about how the world it's going to change, and I think these would be great because I don't know if people are going to do traditional inside venues. So I'm thinking a lot more outdoor parties, and these are going to be great because you don't have power a lot of times, like if you're in the middle of a field or in a barn. And I think that, right.
I swear, I find the most complicated clients. I love them to death. And I love the challenge, like the adrenaline rush, right? From having 30 minutes to set up from start to finish. Like I wear that badge of honor. Trust me. But I think DJs are just looking for products that support the mission and allow flexibility and for them to grow and do creative, different things, but it still offers the same traditional features that you'd look for. But I really like the direction that the technology is heading. These get like 8 hours of battery life. So I am never worried about them running out during an event. They do have an optional battery that you can add onto it, but I haven't found it. I'm not DJing, unless it's like a relay for life or something. I've never needed to have a light have more than 8 hours of battery life personally. So they're fantastic.
And so just in case if somebody is wondering, they are a 60-watt LED, and it's a cool white. It's 7,500 Kelvin. That's the temperature on the LED bulb. And that goes for both the beam, the spot. The wash is a little brighter because it's a seven LED type setup, and each LED is 10 watts. So you get 70 watts. And in the wash version, you do get a 6 to 60 degree zoom angles. And so it's really cool. You get like a real thick beam or a real wide wash. And again, like the 9 built-in shows you can have you up and running in as quickly as 5 minutes. And that's I think that's the game changer about these particular lights is that most lights that I've seen in the past, the auto function is just everywhere. Like there's no control to what the auto function does. And so in this case, you can set them up to your preference. And that way, that makes them usable. From the minute you pull them out of the package, you need nothing else unless you must use them with the Grand MA or things like that to be able to have them do all kinds of crazy things. But I think that that's what's good about this particular setup. And the size, I mean, they're not that big. I mean, DJ Rachel, Katie, you guys are females. And I mean, do you find these things to be extremely heavy?
Well, compared to the normal stuff I'm lifting, like,
an 18-inch EV
an 18-inch EV subs and 35p tops. No, these really aren't a problem. I think they're around 23, 25 pounds?
Yes, they do. They do range. The wash is 23, and then the beam and the spots are about 23, 24 pounds as well.
Yeah, not bad at all.
No, it's a lot lighter than a lot of different movers.
And here's a confession. So I own 2 Chevet Intimidators. I think I've used them 3 times since I've bought them in my career. One was like the day I got them, like, on Christmas or something, I opened them, and then I used them maybe at like 2 weddings. And I never bring them out because I don't want to program. I don't want to DMX, and they just sit there. So when I saw these, I was like, this is going to encourage me to really add a new dimension to my shows and not be miserable about it. Because again, lighting typically doesn't really interest me. So these were right up my alley.
Tell us what it did for you at your Under the Sea event you had. I saw that you used them there. Let's start with how long you had to set up.
Oh, so when your internet went down, we kind of already had that conversation that I had the 30-minute setup window. And if I didn't have these to just literally put them down and turn them on, I wouldn't have been able to incorporate anything else in the show. There just literally was no time. And I also appreciate the fact that, when you solicit help, not everybody's trained, right? But I can easily say, hey, open up that box, put that on a totem, and flip the switch, and I got the rest. Like, it doesn't take any training or effort, if you had to solicit some help with these. They are literally that simple.
Very cool. Now, in the there was another event that you used it with a disco ball, right? I think it was the first time you're using a disco ball or something like that. And so you had the JMAZ Aero in there as well.
Yes. So this venue had a really big banquet hall, and the bride wanted a mirror ball. So, but she wanted to know if I could do it with certain songs, but she didn't want it running all night. So because the mover obviously has a lot of flexibility with it, when I felt it was appropriate, I could position the mover on the totem to put it on the mirror ball, and then tracks where we just wanted it, moving around the room. I had that flexibility to offer 2 distinct looks with one light, which I thought was really cool. It went over very well. And obviously nothing is going to give you the brightness that a mover would. I technically do have Saber Spot Goes, but this mover gave a lot more impact for that size of the room.
Got it. So Katie, when you do anybody, like when people do call you from a retail perspective, are they, is this something you have to tell people about, or is it something people are asking you about? Like if they call to ask for, let's just say, a battery powered up light, is this something you mention where you go, hey, there's also a battery powered moving head?
I think it really depends on application. I like to talk with my customers to see what they're doing. I don't want to try to give them something that they're not going to use or that doesn't fit what they're trying to do. So if they call me up and they're like, I don't have power, what can I do? I'm obviously going to recommend the battery operated solution. So that's a big part of it, is figuring out what products work best for what they're trying to do.
I see. And so then, when you guys do decide to, let's just, because I know that, DJ Rachel, for you, convenient, quick, easy, setup type deal is best for you. I saw you also had a block party that you did, and you had a couple of these out there. I noticed that you use them a lot, like in different, I guess I should say, you always find a way to use these things at your events. Like I noticed that you always find room for them somewhere. What's it like for you to just have these lights and be able to, use them in the way that you always do? Well,
that was the part of the intent of adding these to my arsenal, right? Like, as I said, I owned a pair of Intimidators, and they say I should sell them because I never use them because they're not as easy as the JMAZ lights. And like you said, as a mobile DJ, I work in a lot of different types of environments, and I love the flexibility that you can use these anywhere because you don't have to worry about having a power source. You don't have to worry about safety of having to tape wires down. You don't have to worry about getting involved in complicated DMXing. You can literally plop them anywhere. So as I said, a couple weeks ago, we're homebound. So I wanted to do something really nice for my street, and I wanted to go all out. I didn't want to just throw, a Lifetime table and a black tablecloth out in the driveway. Like, I really wanted to put on a show, and it gave that extra little something that got everyone's attention that drove by and lived on the street. They absolutely loved it. And especially you add a little bit of, that magic puff of smoke with it, and you have amazing. So.
Absolutely. Let me go through some of the comments here just to see what kind of people are saying, what kind of things people are saying. In the meantime, let me get Eric to let my laptop into the video stream here. Eric, if you can log me in. Let's see here. So we have Bob Lefkowitz says, we love Rachel. Thank you, Bob, for your comment. We have, let's see here. Virginia Lagerstam says, hi from Yakima, Washington. We have Mohammed says, hi, hello. We also have here, who else? Let's see here. Ryan Parker says he loves the FX Bar 5050. He wants to know if there's a way for them to come up with a solution to mount it on an end cap so that they can put them on floor stands and then have them vertical. And then let's see here. Ryan, make sure you contact us, let us know about that, and we will be more than happy to kind of go over that with you. I'm getting some echo here. Can you guys hear me? So
sounds like we have some reverb going on over there.
There we go. So this is better.
Yes.
Okay, good. So this is better. Let me just start this video. Okay. So let's see, what else do we have here? Mike Sanchez says JMAZ lights can do both very well. It's one of the nicest points in their design. DMX and remote control built-in programs are super cool. Thank you, Mike. Ryan Parker says, my reluctance to buy a moving head as a mobile DJ has been, one, they are usually too bright, or two, not bright enough without haze, and two, not easily mountable / usable without having to use a truss, and three, he says, bad, no auto program since we don't have time to program lights and DJ music. He says, number one seems like a wash, is not plenty bright. Okay, so I guess he's saying he is reluctant into buying moving heads and mobile DJ because, one, they're usually too bright or not bright enough. What do you guys think about that? As they're trying
I think you need to find the right light that's going to work for your application. If you're buying a tiny moving head that's 10 watts, it's, depending on what you're doing, it's obviously not going to be bright enough. If you're buying production grade stuff that's 100 watts, it's going to be too bright. So it really just depends on, what the rooms look like that he's in, what he's trying to do with that particular light. 60 watt, I think, is a good starting point.
Absolutely. Every application is different. He says, two, they're not easily mountable or usable without having to use a truss.
For me, I don't disagree with that. There are options, of course, that you can, you can do without using a truss, or you can get a collapsible truss that's really easy to set up as well. So it really just depends on what he's looking for and what he's trying to do.
Yeah, DJ Rachel had him on the floor on her block party.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that right?
I mean, I've used these on totems. I've used them on the ground. I've put them anywhere I could tuck them. I remember at the aquarium, because they wouldn't let me have a sub. I normally use my sub as in lieu of a speaker pole, right? So sub, speaker pole, tops. And because of the sound profile in that room and with all the fish and stuff, we couldn't have subs. So I had to use my totems for my speakers. So therefore I just put the movers right next to my facade. So I didn't have to worry about anybody kicking them or anything. And I was able to direct them up towards the ceiling and use one of the gobos that kind of had like, I want to say like a water-like effect. It looked beautiful in the room. I just hit a button. I was like, okay, that looks really good. And we set it and forget it. Like
I saw
that's
that.
literally why I love these.
One of the gobos is set up to, it looks like bubbles, right?
Yeah,
And so,
like fish tank bubbles. That's why I did that.
exactly.
Yeah.
So Ryan, again, number one, yes, it depends on the application of the light that you're using. Depending upon its brightness, if you're getting a 10-watt little moving head, then obviously that's not going to do much for you. So whether you need a brighter one or a less brighter one, they're out there. Another thing is two, they're not easily used, mountable or whatever. But as far as these particular lights go, you can use them depending upon the application, right? Like if you want these to kind of give you a background effect so that you can have them kind of the way I've got them set up here, where I have them running in auto mode, right? They're just kind of a background fill. They're not necessarily for the crowd or for the back walls. You can have them set up so that it does that for you as well. The cool thing too is you can adjust the pan and the tilt angles on these lights. If they're going off to the right too much, if they're going off to the left too much, if they're going up too high and you want them to kind of stay within a certain angle, you can always adjust the pan and tilt angles so that they don't do that for you and they do a little more of what you want them to do. And so then 3, he says, bad or no auto programs, since we don't have time to program lights and DJ music at the same time. So in this case, we did think about that, Ryan. We did think about the usability of these lights, and the built-in programs are very usable, as you could see. So remember, 1, 2, 3, and 4 will go off to one direction. Number 5 will change them off to a different direction. Like right now, because the pan and the tilt is reversed on these lights, they're kind of staying in the middle. One's going to the left, the other one's going to the right, right? So that would be preset number 5. If I go with preset number 6, then they sort of reverse to the opposite direction. So these programs are very useful. So make sure you contact us and let us know. I mean, if there's any additional questions you might have, we appreciate you taking the time to comment. And obviously, yeah, people say here, again, Bob says, we love Rachel.
Showing Rachel
okay,
love, yay!
And so let me see if I have any more. So far, we've got 35 comments on here. Jose Rodriguez just asked, do they have a totem mode or would you use auto? Jose, I was just talking about that. The auto function, there isn't a specific quote unquote auto function on these lights. The built-in programs are designed for you to put them on a totem, or you can put them on the floor. That way you can use them. So it's not an auto mode. We believe that auto mode doesn't do much for anybody. Auto mode is just showing you what the light. It's like demo mode kind of thing. That's the kind of setup you have at a store, like demo. It's just kind of moving around, doing its thing, showing you the gobo, showing you the colors. Totem mode is more of a specific function, a specific feature that these lights have, and there's 9 built-in shows for totem mode. Ross Raymer says, go Katie 2, arm and 3 fires. Okay, Katie, somebody here showing you some love. And so Freddie Boras Jr. says, we love Katie too. Guys, thank you so much for your comments. Let's see here. Exactly. So Ross Raymer did say there isn't one light that will work for every application. Guys, that's so true. Every light has its own function. Because I've been to events where these DJs, they'll have like 30 different moving heads, and they're in the wall, they're in the ceiling, they're off to the side, but the dance floor is dark. And so for me, I'm like, okay, that's cool, but someone doesn't pay attention to what they're doing. So again, every light does have its function, right? Its application based on what you. What else do we have here? Henry says, do you need haze or fog in order for the beam to show? Rachel, what would you say to that?
So it obviously depends on the ambiance.
Because most venues, sorry to interrupt, most venues don't allow fog, right?
That is correct. At least in Connecticut, there's very strict guidelines about fog or haze. So obviously, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Every light is always going to look better with a little fog. I mean, that's not something you can really argue with. It always gives an extra accent to the colors and the movement and things like that. I have
Agree.
yet to have run into a venue or situation where these had zero impact or they were completely lost because I did not have fog outside. Actually, if you watch my complete driveway video of my block party, I had two Chevet, I don't even know what they're called, but they're like these really big fog machines. I can't remember the model right now, but obviously fog outside dissipates very, very quickly. And you can see for the random bursts that happen, eventually all that fog clears away and you can still see these movers perfectly fine. They still look beautiful. Obviously better with the fog, but they're still a very good light without it. So I haven't run into a venue where these haven't looked great inside.
Right. And so one of the things I do want to say, Katie, what would you say to that? Do you need haze or fog in order for the beams to show?
No, absolutely not. I agree 100% with Rachel. Obviously, it's going to make them pop a little bit more, but it's not a necessity, no.
Right. So usually for the beams to show, I mean, if you want to see the beam, it's almost like a laser pointer, right? You can see the dot against the wall, but if you really wanted to see the actual beam itself, yes, you would need the fog or the haze. However, for the effect to show, the cool thing about the the spotlight, because there's a beam, spot, and a wash. So the cool thing about the spot is that you get this 3-facet prism. So I've got it here up against the wall, as you can see it. So the cool thing about the prism is that even if you don't have haze or fog, it still shows the effect very nicely. And it covers a large area in the room. I mean, that light is probably about 3 feet away from that wall, and it sort of looks a little small. But I bet if I took a ruler, you'll probably have a 15-inch diameter. Now, if you shoot it farther, then that effect gets a little bigger. So just to kind of, give Henry Jimenez here an answer to his question, you don't necessarily have to have fog or haze for the lights to show their effects if you know what you're doing with them. Like if you know how to use the 3-facet prisms, the 8-facet prisms in the beam. But if you want to see the beam itself, I mean, any light, like Rachel said, does look better with fog or haze. But that's one thing. I don't know if you guys have noticed this too. A lot of people, when it comes to invites or the guests at the party, don't really pay attention to a lot of the details that we do. I don't know if you've noticed that, because I've been to parties and I'm looking at the crowd. I mean, you can have Christmas lights hanging, for crying out loud, like an LED Christmas light strip running along the room. And for some reason, people are still like, yay, like, having a great time. I don't know if it's us as performers, as manufacturers, that we pay attention to a lot of the details. Have you guys kind of felt the same way, that people don't really, I don't want to say they don't care. But,
I think that we're our own worst critic when it comes to that. We know the industry, so we know what to look for. We know the different products. So yes, I think that we notice more, but I also think that your customer, your clients also, I do think they notice to a point. I think if you have Christmas lights hanging from your DJ gear, it's probably not going to be a good thing. But I do think they notice. I think they notice the level. I mean, it's hard to say. I don't know if I can finish this thought though. If it looks like crap, people are going to notice, in my opinion. Of course.
Absolutely.
So I don't know if I wholly agree, but I don't know if I disagree.
I think it's the.
But you're right. We are our own worst critics. Rachel, go ahead.
I think it's the overall package, right? So good lighting isn't going to compensate for bad music, and bad music isn't going to overshadow having Christmas lights hanging, right? I think everything needs a certain amount of finesse. We absolutely are our own worse critics with this stuff. But I think we have access to so many great products out there that there's no excuse to not have things tidy and neat and safe. And, again, something as simple as this, turn it on and hit a button and you have a great, light show there. So I really think our technologies eliminated even Sound Switch, right? Great program. I'm personally not interested in it, but it really levels up the lighting game. We have all these tools available to us. Why not use them? There's no excuses to not deliver a stellar product.
Very well said.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Absolutely. Somebody commented here and they said, pizza. We love pizza at Rachel.
Honestly, guys, there's tacos for dinner. I have leftover taco meat from Taco Tuesday. So no pizza tonight, believe it or not. Oh, but we got pizza socks on, so.
Yeah, there you go. So Nicholas Edwards says, just went to NLFX and I thought I saw $11.99. Is that the pricing we have them listed at for Katie?
I'm not sure what map is, but I know that there is a discount code, and I believe Eric was going to put it on the banner.
Okay.
So it would be a certain percentage off of that map pricing that you see online, and all you would have to do is put the discount code in the discount space in the checkout box.
Perfect. So Nicholas, make sure you look out for that discount code. And then we have Arthur Brannigan. He says hurricanes.
Hurricane
yes, that's what it was. The Chevet Hurricane. That's exactly what it was. I was drawing a blank. Yeah, they put out a great amount of smoke there. They're pretty cool. Don't use them much though, because the venues don't let you.
And then we have okay, so Nicholas Edwards wants to know, how do we reach out to Katie? And so Nicholas, make sure you check out their website, right, Katie? Any other way? YouTube as well, Facebook?
You can reach me personally, Katie at NLFXpro.com, or on Facebook, NLFX Katie, as well as Instagram, all of the normal
perfect
social media ways to reach someone. But yeah.
Or Nicholas, you can always contact us. We'll be more than happy to give you their contact information. That's no problem. Let's see here. Cruz Rangel says, where's Mike? He's going to be on in the Spanish version immediately after this one, Cruz. Make sure you check us out. We're going to be there. And then Seth on Facebook wants to know, are the batteries replaceable? The internal batteries are rechargeable. They are easy enough to replace. And let me just kind of go over battery technology. I think that industry has advanced fairly quickly. So if you have anything battery powered that doesn't last long, that doesn't in this industry, that doesn't give your light brightness, I just think you're doing it because you're trying to cut cost. So if you have a battery powered device that the battery, like I said, they are easily replaceable if the battery goes bad. But this is kind of why I'm saying this is, it is not expected, or I want to say acceptable, for the batteries to go bad in this day and age. There has been tons of research done on battery technology to be able to have a full line of lights like the ones we have. And so the internal batteries are not, you can't like take them out and put them back in at your leisure, but they are easily replaceable. Just kind of answer that question. But they are rechargeable, Seth. Hopefully that gives you an answer. And then so Henry Jimenez, he says, thanks for answering one of his questions earlier. Richard Conert, are the ones you are showing spot or beam? So Richard, the ones I have behind me are the spots. And here, Ross Raymer, I agree. Most people don't 100%. I think this is when we're talking about like the lighting and stuff like that. Seth also wants to know any estimate on how many hours of usage before the battery packs need to be replaced. They have a charging cycle. So the way rechargeable batteries work, Seth, is they are rated at so many different charge cycles. And a charge cycle to a battery means it was fully charged and fully discharged before it got recharged again. Most of the time, you're not going to run these lights all the way down and then recharge them. You're probably going to have either 40 or 50 or 60% left when you recharge them. So that wouldn't count as a full cycle. But there's about 50,000 rechargeable cycles per battery. So by the time you ever need to replace a battery, these lights will probably be owned by somebody else other than you by the time this ever needs to happen. But the battery packs, electronics are built in a way where nowadays they're easily serviceable, right? The way it's done, they're done from a very convenient service standpoint. That's why we stand behind our product for 2 years and everything else. So again, that's regarding the batteries. And then Nicholas Edwards wants us to screenshot Katie's info. Thank you. We'll do our best to do that, Nicholas, or you can always reach out to us and we'll be more than happy to email you a screenshot of her contact information. Guys, I just kind of want to show the viewers the menu options on the lights, if you don't mind. I just kind of want to go over that, how easy it is to go through the menu options. And let me know if I get cut out here. Let me just switch mics. I'm going to go here. All right, so let's get on to these lights. Let me put them in auto mode, and I will slow them down and pause them. Okay. So let me show you guys the menu options that are on these lights, just so you guys can get an idea of how easy it is to navigate through the menu options on these lights. Again, guys, full wireless DMX. The green light means it is wireless DMX on. Usually the master, let me see here, go back to auto. So usually the master will be red and the slaves will be blinking green, just in case you were wondering. And so let me give you a close-up here of the back of these lights. And so you guys can get an idea here of what these things consist of. And so we have the back of this light fixture. Okay, good. So here is, let me turn it off just so this light doesn't mess with us. So here we have on-off switch. This is the wireless JMAZ wireless DMX indicator. There's your power con input, wire DMX in, wire DMX out. This is the port for the external battery pack, which will give you an additional 8 hours of runtime. In case you guys are interested, this is what that'll do. And if we turn it over to the front, let me turn the light back on. I'll show you what the LED in the front looks like. And this is a TFT display, you guys. That's why you're able to catch it here on the camera. A lot of the LCDs, regular standard LCD displays, you can't. They'll just show like a little white screen, but this is a full color TFT display. And so you see here, so now this is running as a master. Let me pause them so it doesn't keep blinding me since I'm in front of it. Or I could just do off. Okay. All right, give me 1 sec. Okay. All right, give me 1 sec here. So here is I don't know if you guys see that. Okay. So there's the DMX programming, and then we have all the reset signal sets. So then the top 3 functions are the ones you want to stick to.
But once you're up and running, you get a battery life indicator, how much percentage you have, which program you're using, and then the auto run function is there as well. So it's all there. And so, you know, that's what's really cool about these lights is that the displays are very functional and, you know, they're very easy to use. And that's the one thing I think, you know, makes a lot of difference when it comes to these lights. So if there's anything else, guys, any more information, any input, any thoughts you guys want to share with us, DJ Rachel, Katie?
So I guess I'll just close out by saying, you know, it's been an absolute pleasure, you know, meeting you guys, and you really do bend over backwards, you know, for your customers. I can, you know, count on my hand, you know, how many times you've personally, you know, picked up the phone for me if I've had a question, and to kind of really dive into these lights and, you know, some things that I just wanted to get a complete understanding of, obviously, because if I'm going to, you know, do a video on how to use these and why I love them, I want to be an informed consumer. And you guys are very responsive to your customers. You're very into the needs, and you're flexible, and I really appreciate your level of customer service and your vision with this stuff, and that you're really listening to the community with it. So, you know, thank you for all your help and your kindness, and, you know, I really look forward to the exciting new stuff that you guys got coming down the pipeline.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rachel. Katie?
Sorry, my dog just saw someone walk by and he went a little crazy. So, no, I just have to say that I think that JMAZ is very innovative. I think there are a lot of products that I haven't seen anywhere else. And I think that if someone is looking for something that they may not find or they may not think is available, that they should check out the product line, because there really are just a ton of great products from JMAZ.
Absolutely. So one of the things I'll tell people is don't fall in love with the light fixture. Don't fall in love with the pricing. What I really want to tell people is fall in love with the customer, with the level of customer service you're getting. Fall in love with the warranty you're getting from a certain manufacturer. I mean, with social media nowadays, you could contact anybody immediately. And why would they take 2 days, 3 days, a week to get back to you? I don't understand. So what I'm trying to get at is price is only an issue in the absence of value. Because if something has got value, you're going to definitely not worry so much about pricing. The reason most people ask for pricing is because they don't see value into something that they're buying. And I think that customer service, warranty, and obviously as well as the quality of the product does bring a lot of value into things that people are buying. And remember, you're making an investment into lights that I think through time will pay themselves back over and over and over again. So do take the time to learn about these products. Battery powered is definitely where things are headed. I know a lot more companies are coming out with battery powered solutions. And again, we always find that niche solution, that niche product that people really like. And so I think that's where we're going to thrive on. And again, we look forward to talking to everybody. Any more questions you guys might have, let us know either now or after the live stream. We're more than happy to address them. And don't forget, we will be picking somebody out of the comment section to give them a free swag bag. So let's make sure we stay in touch, guys. Ladies, I really want to thank you so much for your time. I appreciate your experience, your knowledge, your expertise, and everything you guys bring to the table. We look forward to a long-term, fruitful relationship, and hope to see you guys again very soon at one of the trade shows. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Have a great day.
Stay well.
Sorry, my
Awesome.
dog just